First, we immediately set up the Portage Health Foundation's Houghton County Flood Relief Fund that Monday morning. This effort was coordinated with the emergency response team and was done to ensure that there was a vetted local 501c3 public charitable foundation prepared to receive, hold, and distribute funds for this community. To date, we have received over $200,000 in private and corporate contributions and continue to work with several corporate donors who are still working on assessing or accessing aid for this community. We have pledged 100% every penny that's been and will be donated to be used for this relief effort. And in fact, a considerable amount of money has already been redirected to the cleanup and relief effort. Secondly, we immediately coordinated with local hardware retailers to facilitate needed equipment so the Volunteer Reception Center could dispatch workers with needed personal protective equipment and tools, sump pumps, vacuums, dehumidifiers, and all the other necessary equipment needed to do the job. We have expended nearly $50,000 in equipment in support of this past week's cleanup efforts, and this would not have been readily possible without the help of the Campione family and all of their employees. They helped secure equipment and aided in getting it to the locations without any hesitation or reservations. We have been working hard behind the scenes over the past 10 days with companies like Superior National Bank, 3M, Enbridge Energy, Boss Snowplows, AT&T, Dow Chemical, Range Bank, UP Supply Company, River Valley Bank, and countless other companies locally, regionally, and nationally to bring additional volunteer and financial resources to bear on this community. Our collective efforts have been focused on immediate and long-term relief and have resulted in considerable contributions to date. We cannot understate the hard work of our volunteers, the folks at Evangel Church who have coordinated the volunteer efforts, and the overall response by all of the road and utility crews, including aid from the National Guard. In addition to the immediate establishment of the fund and allocation of financial resources to aid the dispatch of volunteers, we have been working on a plan that takes the Portage Health Foundation from being reactive to the flood to being responsive to the needs of the community. As you can imagine, we are balancing the need to be urgent in helping our community and the necessity of being intentional and competent with the management and distribution of the funds. We are working to do so in a way that provides the greatest amount of good for the greatest amount of people and in the end is defensible. I can tell you that when I have watched these things unfold on the news over the years, I, like most people, have criticized some of the delay that occurs in getting aid to the community. As we work through this process, it is apparent that we need to be cognizant of our role as a steward of these resources and to take the emotion from the decision-making process to make sure these monies, your monies, are spent in a way that accomplishes what we want them to accomplish. And that's getting people back into their safe homes as safely and quickly and responsibly as possible. In that vein, the Portage Health Foundation has created an action plan that we are calling the Flood with Love that will guide our allocation of funds to this effort. We have identified 4 additional areas that the Portage Health Foundation believes that it can immediately play a role. First, and I'm joined here with Rebecca Crane, the Director of Dial Help, the mental health of our community as we deal and oftentimes reel from the effects of this storm needs to be met. We have partnered with Rebecca and her team at Dial Help of Houghton, Michigan to help us with this effort. If you need help, please dial help. They can offer 24/7 crisis support via phone, texting, instant messages, walk-ins, and outreach visits. They will help with connecting you to vital services and resources, system navigation, and follow-up contacts to ensure that the individuals were able to connect with professionals, provide personalized emergency and temporary assistance, and redirect you if necessary to other needed help areas related to the storm. They will try to answer your questions and be a central and sustainable call center. And in support of this, the Portage Health Foundation has allocated an additional $50,000 to make sure that they and their partners are able to meet the community's immediate needs. Second, we know that there are many homes which have been damaged by this storm, and according to the report that I have been provided, 617 homes have been impacted to some degree or another. We also know that 8 homes are considered to be a complete loss, and additionally we know that the environmental damage to private property is severe and not only presents considerable financial burdens to families, but presents a public health risk if unaddressed and unabated, and restricts many families yet who have been unable to adequately repair driveways and regain access to and from their homes. This two-part approach to home and site restoration is critically important to minimize future health risks and to help get our families back to some sense of normal. The Portage Health Foundation has developed a plan that will include working with the UP Home Builders Association and other trades associations to vet and coordinate licensed and insured contractors to help homeowners assess damages, provide estimates, and access Portage Health Foundation funding to complete projects necessary to get as many families back into safe homes as quickly and as responsibly as possible. We have reviewed our plan with representatives from the Attorney General's office and have approval from our foundation's board of directors to begin this process immediately. Next steps in moving this forward is now underway as we work with our partners to finalize action plans and the application process. This is very important. So we can work uninterrupted and get this done as quickly as necessary. We ask for a bit of patience and ask that folks please refrain from calling or coming to our office with questions about this program support yet. We will be making additional notifications to the public. We will be holding informational sessions, and we will be fully available to answer all questions as necessary as soon as our application has been reviewed and we are able to move forward with that process. We anticipate that this will be prepared and ready to go by middle of next week. For this effort, we have set a target of approximately $3.2 million in aid, and this will be provided with existing and targeted private and corporate donations and a direct investment from the Portage Health Foundation. As we stand back up from this storm, it is important that we recognize that as a community, we are also vulnerable. It is unfortunate, but we are already seeing incidents of people's desperation being taken advantage, and our process is one that provides vetting of contractors, transparency of work to be done, documented payment and processing, and even some cost controls that will mitigate price gouging. It is intended to be a coordinated effort that will employ local contractors that will contribute these financial resources back into our local economy. Finally, we know that there has been much devastation to other aspects of our community: playgrounds, trails, parks, and other recreational assets that contributes to our overall quality of life. These also provide a significant driver to our regional economy, and we are working to convene the necessary leadership to begin assessing what the damages are and how we will leverage our corporate partnerships to help us rebuild this facet of our community. In total, we are estimating Portage Health Foundation aid in the amount of $3.8 million to help our community recover from this recent storm. Please know that all of us here at the Portage Health Foundation know that our friends and families are hurting and are being faced with the realization of tremendous and overwhelming losses. Some are just simply unimaginable, and we're all feeling it. But we know that we can't stay in that space. We also need to someday see that weaved into all of this devastation, there has been incredible miracles. There could have been so many more homes damaged, people hurt, and lives lost. There has been so much love bestowed on this community, and that is the miracle, the flood with love that we have also experienced. I ask each of you to please consider and give some grace to all of the people that have responded to this community, the work that has been exhausted, the love that has been shown, and the sacrifices that have been made to aid one another. Our hearts and prayers go out to the victims of this storm, and especially to the Markham family. And the community is suffering together, and we know that we all just want the same thing, and that's just to be whole again. Thank you for your time, and if we have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.